And Dennis, finally, you mentioned investment in infrastructure, and certainly without infrastructure, there's no need for a conversation on broadband, and you mentioned Verizon leading other countries in terms of what you all are investing in the network. Do you feel, is it your opinion that the market-based approach that the government's taken toward the Internet to date, is that helpful in terms of looking at long-term investments in telecommunications infrastructure?
Yeah, I think it's tremendously helpful. Certainly our investment wouldn't have been possible if the FCC had not adopted some of the policies that it did 2 or 3 years ago with respect to new fiber deployment, next generation networks. And we see the same sort of discussion going on now in many European countries, where the operators are saying, well, how are you going to treat our fiber investment if we make it? And the regulator can see that if they give one answer, they may inhibit investment, but they don't have other platforms to rely on like we do. So that's the conflict that I was referring to earlier, that I think a lot of countries have made tremendous progress with DSL deployment. And it's great if you live in Paris and you live very close to a central office and you can get relatively cheap DSL at a high bit rate. But if you live in the middle of the U.S. and you're not close to a central office, the only way you're going to get high speed is if somebody builds fiber out closer to you. And so there we get into these market dynamics. And that's where I think the system that we've built for ourselves, where the market gives us the incentive to make those investments, is working very well for us compared to what we see in some other countries where this has really been a tremendous policy struggle for them.
Well, Dennis, we thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity.
This is NextGenWeb.org reporting from the National Academy of Sciences in Washington.